The Great Wall of China's true length you never knew. When you first hear the phrase the Great Wall of China, you probably imagine a massive stone barrier stretching endlessly across mountain ridges, a single unbroken ribbon protecting an ancient empire. The image is powerful, iconic, and even mystical, but the truth is much more astonishing and far less simple. The Great Wall is not a single wall, and its true length is far greater than most people could ever guess. For centuries, stories about its scale have been whispered, exaggerated, or misunderstood. Many believed the wall was only a few thousand kilometers long. Others imagined it was visible from space with the naked eye. But in 2012, after a comprehensive archaeological survey, Chinese authorities revealed the most complete answer. Yet, the Great Wall's total length, including every trench, barrier, and overlapping section built by successive dynasties, spans 21,196 kilometers. That's about 13,171 miles. To put that in perspective, it is more than half the circumference of Earth. This is the wall you never knew, the myth and the reality for much of history. The wall existed as both reality and legend. Ancient travelers described it in merchants along the Silk Road told tales of its length, and foreign writers turned it into a symbol of China's mystery. Marco Polo, if he truly saw it, wrote about its vastness in the 13th century, but no one could have imagined just how extensive it was. The popular estimate for decades was 5,000 kilometers, still incredible, but only a fraction of its actual total. The myth that it was the only man-made structure visible from space cemented its grandeur in the modern imagination, even though astronauts later clarified that while the wall is huge, it blends into the natural landscape too much to be seen unaided from orbit. The reality was both more complex and more impressive. The wall wasn't a single ribbon of stone, but a massive network of fortifications, trenches, watchtowers, natural barriers, and overlapping walls built by dozens of rulers across nearly 2,000 years. A wall built by dynasties, the earliest sections of what would become the Great Wall were built as early as the 7th century BC, when small kingdoms constructed earth barriers to defend their territories. When China was unified under the Qin dynasty into 21 BCE, Emperor Qin Shi Huang famously ordered these walls connected, forming the early foundation of the Great Wall. But construction didn't stop there. Successive dynasties Han, Northern Qi, Sui, and especially the Ming rebuilt, expanded, and reinforced sections. The Ming dynasty, ruling between the 14th and 17th centuries, created some of the most iconic stone and brick sections still standing today. Each dynasty built in different styles and locations, depending on threats, terrain, and available resources. In deserts, walls were made of tamped earth and reeds. In mountains, they were stone. In open plains, trenches and wooden barricades did the work. These layers of history added up to a structure not just of stone, but of time itself, measuring the impossible for centuries. No one knew the wall's true length. It spanned too many provinces, wound through too many deserts and mountains, and decayed too heavily to measure. Many sections were lost to erosion, buried under sand, or dismantled by locals who repurposed bricks for houses and farms. Then came modern technology. Between 2007 and 2012, the State Administration of Cultural Heritage of China launched an unprecedented survey. Using advanced GPS, infrared scanners, and aerial photography, they mapped out every known piece of wall, fort, trench, and natural barrier historically considered part of the Great Wall system. The result shocked the world: 21,196 kilometers. This was not just one wall, but a patchwork of defense systems stretching across 15 provinces and regions, from the rugged mountains of Liaoning in the east to the deserts of Gansu in the west. The discovery redefined the wall. What was once thought of as a singular structure became an enormous network, more like a vast, interconnected skeleton of an empire than a single continuous line. What remains today walk the restored sections near Beijing, such as Badaling or Mutianyu, and you'll see magnificent stone walls snaking across hillsides, packed with tourists, snapping photos. These are the postcard images, the symbols of China's past strength and present pride. But outside these areas, the reality is starkly different. Much of the wall has crumbled into ruin. In remote deserts, only faint mounds of earth remain, hinting at ancient fortifications. In farming villages, locals have taken bricks from collapsed walls to build homes, barns, and even pigsties. time, wind, and rain have worn down. Countless stretches. Experts estimate that only about 8% of the wall is well preserved. The rest ranges from partial ruin to complete disappearance. In some areas, the wall has been swallowed by sand dunes, invisible until rediscovered by archaeologists. This fragility makes its measured length even more astonishing. Imagine a skeleton half buried in dust, yet still spanning the breadth of a continent that is the Great Wall today. More than stone, why was it built so long? The wall was never just about keeping enemies out. It was a system of defense, communication, and control. Watchtowers signaled approaching threats with smoke by day and fire by night. Garrisons along the wall provided rapid response to raids. Border gates facilitated trade and taxation along routes like the Silk Road. In this sense, the wall was both a shield and a sieve. It protected the empire while channeling the flow of goods, ideas, and people. Its sheer length reflects not only military strategy, but also the vast scale of Chinese civilization and its frontiers, the symbolism of scale. The Great Wall's true length, longer than half the Earth's circumference, carries symbolic weight. It represents human determination on a scale almost impossible to fathom. Millions of laborers, soldiers, and peasants contributed to its construction, often under brutal conditions. Legends tell of families torn apart, of workers buried within the wall itself, of lives sacrificed to create this colossal barrier. To measure the wall in kilometers alone risks missing the human cost it embodies. Each stone, each mound of earth represents toil, sweat, and sacrifice across centuries. Its 21,196 kilometers are not just physical distance, but human history etched across a landscape you never knew. So here is the truth. The Great Wall of China is not simply a wall, but the largest human-made defense network in history. Its length to 1196 kilometers exceeds the wildest imaginations of early travelers and the tidy figures taught in schoolbooks. It is longer, more fragmented, more ruined, and more astonishing than most people realize. It is a reminder that history is not always neat or simple, but layered, broken, and vast. Final reflections stand on a quiet, unrestored section of the wall, where the stones are crumbling and grass grows between the cracks. Look east, look west. The wall disappears into the horizon, not as a perfect line, but as a ghost of empires past. You may not see all 21,196 kilometers with your eyes. But now you know they exist, scattered across mountains, deserts, and plains, stretching farther than you ever imagined. And that's the wonder of the Great Wall. It is not just a monument, but a mystery unraveled. A story of human ambition so vast that its length, like its legacy, is something you never truly knew.